This made me feel like an alien child with no place in my family and company, even though I knew I could do great things. The gap between me and my family made me feel even more sad and angry when my contributions were ignored. When I developed the Symbios software application to improve supply chain management, I could not have imagined that such an important technological innovation would go unrecognized by my family. Although the application saved the company from bankruptcy, increased revenue by $2 million, and attracted many new customers, my mother, Maggie, still did not see its true value. She always held the view that the company did not need to change much, and, to her, maintaining traditional stability was more important than any innovation. Although I knew I had saved the company, all the glory and recognition went to my older sister, Isabella, who had a strong background in business administration and was always considered by my mother to be the successor to the company. It was painful to feel overlooked, especially when Isabella, who had no involvement in the software development process, was given a big bonus and praised as the one who led the company through the difficulties. Meanwhile, I, who had devoted myself and worked tirelessly to develop the software that saved the company, was only seen as a technician and received no recognition. When Isabella was promoted and stood before the crowd as the leader of the company, I felt deeply hurt. I had spent months developing the software, working late at night after 12 a.m., while my mother and Isabella did not recognize the value of my work. The tension between me and my family was growing, and I could not help but feel a sense of injustice. I understood that this family business was not just a place to work, but a place where I wanted to assert myself and prove that I could bring innovation and sustainable success. Faced with being ignored and looked down upon, I became even more determined to fight for what I deserved. Not just bonuses or titles, but recognition for my contributions, recognition from my own family and the company that I had devoted my whole life to developing. Only when my family recognized the true value of the innovations I brought, did I feel that I could truly find my place in this world. I saw the company gradually recovering thanks to the Symbios software I developed, but not receiving the recognition I deserved. I could not sit still any longer. Even though I had worked hard for months, no one in my family, especially my mother, recognized my contributions. My mother always believed that the company did not need to change and that what I had done was only a small, insignificant part of the company's overall success. I, who had saved the company from bankruptcy by over $300 million, was ignored just because I did not pursue the traditional values that the family always placed first. Every time I saw Isabella, my older sister, standing in front of the crowd to receive a big award, I felt even more angry and disappointed. Although she did not participate in the process of developing the technology, she was seen as the successor of the company, recognized and praised. That made me feel even more like an outsider, even though I was the one who really made a difference. This gap between me and my family made me realize that if I did not speak up and protect my rights, I might never have the opportunity to be recognized. After many nights of thinking, I decided to seek out an attorney to protect my intellectual property rights to the Symbios software. I wanted to not only protect my work, but also assert that my contributions were worthwhile, worthy of recognition, and valuable to the company. I began to realize that this was not just about money or titles, but about recognition and respect for my efforts. I needed to stand up for my family and the company to see that I had a right to be recognized as an important part of the development of MLS. Although it was not easy, I knew that if I did not act now, I would forever be a sideshow in my family story. I reached out to Ethan Harris, one of my trusted board members, and asked him to help me protect my rights. Ethan, who was tech-savvy, realized that I had not only saved the company but also laid a solid foundation for MLS's future growth. He began to advocate for me in stand-up meetings and asked my family to reconsider their views and how they recognized my achievements. Ethan's support was a great motivation for me to continue fighting. I was no longer just a technician in the eyes of my family. I was an innovator who brought solutions to the company's sustainable development. In fact, without Symbios software, MLS would not be able to maintain its competitive position in the logistics industry today. That's why I could not remain silent. I decided that if my family could not see my value, I would not hesitate to stand up for myself and prove that I deserved respect and recognition. After deciding that I could no longer tolerate the lack of recognition from my family, I felt that it was time to do something to change the situation. Even though I saved the company from bankruptcy and helped MLS attract many new customers, I still could not get the recognition I deserved. My mother, Maggie, and Isabella maintained their stance that the company did not need to change and that I did not have the power or the qualifications to demand a significant position in the company. The feeling of being ignored and marginalized made me feel sad and angry every day. But after thinking carefully and realizing that no one would stand up for me, I decided to take action. With the support of Ethan Harris, one of our board members and an advocate for innovation, I created a bold strategy to change the company structure. I proposed a split of the company into two parts, a technology part that I would lead, where the Symbios application would be developed and expanded, and a traditional logistics part that Isabella would continue to manage. This proposal was not simply an organizational split, but a revolution in the leadership thinking of my family. Our company would be able to develop both areas independently, while still maintaining the common bond and strength of the family. However, I knew that this proposal would not be easy to accept, especially for my mother and Isabella, who believed in tradition. However, I felt that this was the only opportunity for me to prove that the innovations I brought were not just a passing trend but could actually help the company develop sustainably. The meeting with the board of directors took place in a tense atmosphere. My mother, although seemingly surprised by my proposal, maintained her leadership style. Isabella, meanwhile, showed clear dissatisfaction, but I knew that she could not deny that the company needed to change if it wanted to continue to survive in the modern logistics industry. In the end, after hours of intense debate, the board of directors and the family agreed to the new structure I proposed. I was recognized not only for my contributions to the development of Symbios, but also for leading the company into a new technological future. This was not only a personal victory, but also a victory for the company and my family. The company was ready to expand and develop not only in logistics but also in technology, which I have always believed was the key to long-term survival and development. Although I received recognition, I still knew that the battle was not over. But at least I had affirmed my position in the company and in the family. Isabella, although not satisfied, faced the reality that the company could not sustain itself forever with only a traditional foundation. She could not deny that innovation was necessary, and I helped the family realize that the company had to move forward in the modern world. Despite the tension, I feel relieved to finally be able to assert my worth, and I know that this is the beginning of a new chapter in my life and in the history of MLS. After the confrontation and victory of gaining recognition from my family and the board, Sophia began to see a new future for both myself and MLS. The decision to split the company into two separate parts opened a new path for both areas, technology and logistics, to thrive independently but still have a strong connection. This was not only a victory for me but also an important shift in the family's thinking. Although there were still many tensions and adjustments between Isabella and I clearly felt that the innovation I brought was well received, and that made me proud. MLS began to expand strongly. With the technology department I led attracting new customers and creating unprecedented opportunities. Symbios, the application I developed, not only saved the company but also helped us build a solid foundation for the future. We started to receive more contracts from companies outside the traditional logistics industry, which further reinforced the right decision to split the company into two independent units. Meanwhile, Isabella continued to run the traditional logistics operations, but it was clear that she was no longer the only one holding power in the company. I was able to make a fundamental change in the way MLS operated and developed. This turning point not only gave me a solid position in the company, but also opened up opportunities for me to model change in the logistics industry. I was recognized not only as a technology innovator but also as a future leader of the company. The results achieved in the months after implementing the change made me even more confident in my abilities. Not only within the company, but also within my family, I found the recognition I deserved after so many years of being overlooked. My story, while a positive one, is a reminder of the importance of innovation and recognition. The combination of tradition and technology is the key to creating long-term success for the company. My mother, despite her traditional views, eventually understood that the old ways could not be maintained if the company was to grow sustainably. She saw that I brought real value to the company, and that made me feel like I had made a big step forward. The lesson I learned from this journey is that innovation does not come from one person but from the courage to stand up for what you believe in. It is not always easy, but if you believe in what you are doing and keep trying, you will have the opportunity to change things. Ultimately, my family and my company have learned that change is inevitable in a fast-paced world, and that sometimes, innovation opens the door to new success. While I have achieved what I wanted, I know that this is only the first step. MLS, through innovation and adaptability, will continue to grow and evolve. And I, as a technology leader, will continue to play a key role in shaping the future of the company. Never stop believing in yourself and standing up for what you deserve. Sometimes change takes courage and determination, but it is those bold steps that will bring long-term success. If you are facing a lack of recognition or challenges, do not be afraid to take action. Affirm your values and constantly innovate, because that is the key to not only growing yourself but also contributing to changing the world around you.